The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, The Money Masters. Now, your Money Masters, Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes.
Welcome to the Money Masters Show, folks. Steve Rhodes here, along with my friend Basil Chapman. Basil will be joining me for the hour, then he will be doing his show as well. So back to back. Basil, how you doing this morning?
Hi, Steve. How are you? Are you feeling a little better? You sound good.
Well, you know, for the shows, I just simply get my energy level up. And then after the show, kind of dives down just a little bit, but absolutely feeling better. A week ago today was when you filled in for me a week ago today.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you very, very much for doing that. You were Superman last week on Tuesday. You did 3 hours in a row.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing because you and I love looking at charts. We just
absolutely.
We get elevated when we're looking at these charts. Just the challenge and the way we use our different techniques.
Exactly.
It was so stimulating. It really did not feel like 3 hours at all.
I love that. Oh, that's how it's supposed to work. You know, I don't feel like I've worked a day in my life. Other than maybe when I've had a lot of, as a kid, I did a lot of things. You know, one of those things was, I think perhaps the most difficult job was a summertime in Michigan as a cement mason, carrying cement up ladders, you know, for guys to build bricks. That was a tough summer.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to get up early for that. You know, we had to beat the heat, so to speak, in the summertime.
Yeah, funny you mentioned cement. I was just thinking yesterday. I saw a picture somewhere of L.A.
Yes.
With all those ships the cargo ships that are waiting.
Yeah. Okay.
And it reminded me back in the 70s when I was flying from Boston.
Yes.
Back to South Africa. We decided our son was maybe a year and a half old. I don't remember how old he was.
Yes,
Anyway,
yeah.
he was just very young.
Yes.
And I decided we would take the all stops route because it would be easier to stop and with a kid.
Yes.
And then to go directly. Well, that was the wrong thing to do. But we took the Pan Am, and it was the all stops. It went from Boston to New York. I remember the bag that we had with all the containers of food broke. The Star Market bag. And we had, anyway, we went across Africa and all the way down Africa. There were like 5 stops. Well, when we flew, it was during the oil crisis, one of the oil crises,
okay.
The second oil crisis.
Okay.
And when we flew over, and I'm trying to think where it was on what was called the Gold Coast of Africa.
Yes.
And it was one of the oil-rich countries there.
Okay.
They had gotten so much money so quickly. What they did is they ordered all these things, and especially concrete mix,
how about
because
that?
They were going to build all these stuff, and they were going to build a new port.
Yes.
Well, it so happened that the boats could not dock because there were so many.
Oh, really?
That they were we have Route 128 that circles the whole greater Boston area that goes from the south to the north.
Yes.
It was like that, and at lunch hour, in the morning traffic, there were so many of these boats filled with concrete that they were going to put onto a dock that was supposed to be built using the concrete.
Oh, how about
that?
Well,
what happened was the concrete was out there and it dried up, and eventually I looked out the window. I saw all these cargo boats. I said to the stewardess, I said, what's going on? She said, well, this has been there every time we've flown over for the past 3-4 months, and we were told they're going to have to blow up some of those boats because the concrete had already hardened.
How about that?
The moment you said that, you're talking about concrete, that reminded me. Anyway.
Oh, that's it. I tell you, I'm kind of glad. I am glad that you brought up the shipping issue that they're having in the L.A. port. Is that now? I heard about it Sunday as I was driving back over here to Clearwater.
Serious.
So that's
$1 billion a day it's costing.
Yeah, I when I used to own my stores out at the theme parks, Disney and Universal Studios, I imported all of my glass material from China, and it all came in by boat through the port in Los Angeles. And I once had to deal with a situation where the longshoremen were on strike. In this case here, I believe it is longshoremen are just simply honoring the administrators out there that are on strike or what have you. And, you know, for a small business, so it impacts so many businesses out there. And during a holiday period of time, you know, that was, you know, most small businesses, you know, we managed our dollars like any business should, you know.
Right.
And so, you know, we knew what the flow was like because it, you know, went from a container to a train. It took, you know, about 10 days to get to Jacksonville, Florida, or Tampa, and then unloaded and trucked up to us.
Right.
So, you know, that is causing a huge problem for all kinds of, and it couldn't happen at a worse time. And, you know, and so businesses are forced to go back to their suppliers, for example, overseas, and then fly things in. You know, to fly things in is 10 times as expensive.
You can imagine the cost. Oh, it's incredible.
And if it's a dense thing, you know, like a cement, or in my case it was glass, and glass very heavy. You know, per square centimeter.
Yeah, I know, because I have
there.
a friend who does that with staples, and every once in a while he has to ship things over to get there in a rush, and he says he makes no money on the deal. This is just public relations.
Exactly. Just keep your customers happy out there. So let's get to the markets here right now. We've got the Dow is up 56 points, folks. The S&P is up 3.5. Composite up 27 cents. Russell 2000 up a couple of bucks. We got some key reversal days out in the marketplace yesterday in the S&P 500, New York Stock Exchange, the Dow, ES Mini, the Dow futures, the NASDAQ futures out here. And folks, if you haven't had a chance to, to listen in on Basil's show, number one, please make sure that you do that. He does the show from 11 to 12 each day. It's archived on Channel 11. Channel 11 out there. And Basil has formed his own technique called the Chapman Wave. We're going to combine techniques out here today. You can give us a call at 877-927-6648. Basil's got a great two-day course. That's a wonderful thing. A two-day online course that begins on Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, man, when you come out of that course, you are going to be an educated person on the Chapman Wave out there. And so he'll explain about that, maybe tell us a little bit about how he created that as well. I've got the Euro-US dollar currency chart up on the screen here. Now, you've got a move in the markets here today, and the euro is strong against the dollar. If you take a look at King Dollar right now, U.S. dollar index is back about 17 cents. So that means that the Japanese yen or the pound are offsetting the strength here that we're seeing in the euro. But if we take a look at the euro, folks, the euro is making a move all the way back to its most recent swing point high, which was on October 17th. It's trading inside there, and using Basil's technique. Basil, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's in leg D up, as you would say. Is that correct?
In the daily chart, it's in leg D up, and that's a very simple technique, yes.
Yes, and it is a simple technique, and that's why I think that folks should pay attention to it, and it's great to add to your arsenal of tools out there. Very good to help to understand perhaps the next moves in the marketplace, depending on when you may have gotten into a trade, or maybe you're trying to add to a trade. So great techniques for doing that. So when you get to leg D, now in this case here, because you've taken out yesterday's high, you couldn't get a confirmation on this. The earliest would be tomorrow. And so now what we've got is we've got the euro actually making a triple top test out here. Hasn't made it yet. And what I'm really referring to, folks, I'm referring to the September 17th swing point, where you saw a reversal in the euro after it made a 1.618 butterfly expansion. There was a test of that area, as I said, on October 17th. Now we're having another test in that area here today. Also using, and I like to use the relative strength indicator out there. Basil uses stochastics and MACD and on balance of volume out there. So we all use some different tools out here. And the last time that the euro was up at this high relative strength, we also saw reversals. Now, you have to wait for the candle to show up. And just like in Basil's case, in order for it to complete a leg D, you've got to wait for the following session to confirm that. So, why don't you give us your, and the reason that I'm bringing this up, folks, is that because should the euro turn, whether it's today, tomorrow, the next day, whenever it is, when it completes its move up, its 100% move here and begins to pull back, that is going to put some real strength in the U.S. dollar, which is going to be interesting as far as gold and silver. Gold and silver down 1%, and gold's down 1%, silver down 1 8/10% here right now. But also, I think with regard to at least a decent pullback in the market. So on the euro, how are you seeing things? And folks, we're able to switch between charts here. So you're able to take a look at my charts if you're following us on Tiger TV. If you're listening on the radio, your mobile device, you can pick this show up on the archives on Channel 10 out there. So we'll flip over to Basil's charts here. And why don't you take the euro away?
Okay, thank you, Steve. So let me just explain the concept of the Chapman wave. The way it came about was I noticed that from a particularly obvious low bar. When I say low bar, it's very important, and this is why the courses are so important, because when I'm doing the show here, I really can't get into too many words, because this is a very visual application. You want to be able to see it, recognize it, and move on. So to spend too much time I know for myself, when I talk too much, when I listen to people talking, my eyes glaze over very quickly. I'm very visual, so I keep that in mind. So what I learned was that the most important left side low bar, it's the entire bar, because you could make a low, but that doesn't make it the low bar.
Right.
So it's the full bar itself. And if you go to this little doji candle in the EUR-USD currency pair, the little doji candle, I use all these different candles, like Steve always talks about.
And that's November 13th, folks. That's the November 13th date. Yes.
There's a low at 1.2727. Merely identifying that starts, and I also use the slow stochastic and the MACD, but in fact you could just do it what I call the naked chart. You could just do it by the chart itself without all the other techniques. If you count each successively higher peak, and a peak, what I do is when the bar starts to rise, that'll get a capital letter A, the very first one. But that A is called the floating letter, and it moves until there is a peak. In other words, there's a lower high bar. The full bar must be lower, the following bar, and that makes a peak.
Yes.
So I get peak A at on the 15th. I get a high peak B on the 23rd, and then peak C on the 27th. And now we're in leg D. If tomorrow there's a lower high bar, that'll make peak D. Now, that's one part of the technique. The other is identifying chart patterns. You can see that there was a major peak D at 1.3175 back in September, the doji high, 1.317.
Yes.
That was a high. Now, this is very interesting.
And
because
what's great about this, folks, is that if you put the multiple systems together, that same peak D out there happened to be a 1.618 butterfly expansion.
In your butterfly expansion that you showed just earlier on. So now we've got, and what I always say, if you have a robust methodology, it should embrace and encompass and enhance your techniques. That's why I find these webinars and master trader series and seminars so exhilarating, because, first of all, when you teach, you learn it again.
Exactly, no question.
So it's
a real benefit to each of us, isn't it, as educators?
It's like the Tiger dollars, the Tiger Salvation Army dollars.
Yes.
That's like winning for everyone, a win-win-win situation.
Absolutely.
Because you can get to whatever it is, plus you get a bonus, plus you get the tax write-off.
Absolutely. When we get back here, folks, we're going to break for commercial just for a few minutes. Please rejoin Basil and I. We'll go back and take a look at the euro, all the other markets as well. You can always give us a call at 877-927-6648. We'll also talk about that win-win-win Tiger Dollar Salvation opportunity, Salvation Army opportunity. What a great way to help yourself and help others in your life. We'll be right back, folks.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on U.S. Treasuries, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Happy holidays from TFNN. Our most rewarding Tiger Dollar sale is back this December at TFNN. Normally, we offer only a 10 to 20% bonus on Tiger Dollar purchases, but through December 19th only, when you purchase Tiger Dollars to spend on any of our products, you get a 25% bonus on your purchase, and up to 10% of whatever you spend will be donated to the Salvation Army in your name. You'll receive a personalized thank you letter directly from our local Clearwater Salvation Army administrator in appreciation of your donation. Tiger Dollars can be used on any of our newsletters or subscriptions, never expire, and are fully transferable. Take advantage of our most rewarding Tiger Dollar sale of the year right now. Visit TFNN.com for all the details and to make your purchase today. Happy holidays from TFNN.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the Money Masters Show, folks. Basil Chapman and Steve Rhodes here. Right now, we've got the Dow up 37, S&P's up a point, the composite off 6 points right now. Russell 2000 almost flat here, up 59 cents. And you heard the commercial there for the Tiger Dollar promotion. It is a great time for you to be able to invest in yourself and help others out there. So if you're just sitting on the fence thinking that you should what you want to do for 2013 is to learn how to better understand the breathing pattern, the normal patterns inside these markets. Well, there's a great way to do that. That's to sign up for Basil's course here, folks, which is going to be all day on Thursday and Friday. It's online. It's archived on your members page, and you got access to Basil as well. The Tiger Dollar promotion works like this. You can buy any amount over $500. If you buy $1,000 or less, you're going to get first you get a 25% bonus on everything that you purchase. So you've got that bonus. You also will have a 5% contribution made in your name to the Salvation Army. So you'll get a letter from them. You can write that off on your taxes. You can do well for others. If you purchase over $1,000 worth of Tiger Dollars out there, you'd get a 10% donation. So it's a great way for you to be able to invest in yourself. And there's no time like right now than taking massive action And so please go take a look at that on our website. And especially if you use services, you should do it. And if you're just sitting on the fence thinking, how can you help others in your life? Well, the easiest way is to take care of yourself out there. As we come back to these markets here, we were talking about the euro U.S. dollar. I saw a key reversal day take place in the NASDAQ. We'll take a look at the NASDAQ here in a few moments. In a key reversal day, in the case of the NASDAQ, what it was doing, it was testing the area where it had most recently broke down, which was November 7th out there. It was also testing the October 23rd level yesterday. What you did was not what you did, but what the NASDAQ did was it got up and above the prior day's candle, got over the high, under the low, closed lower, reverse direction. Today you're having a little bit of follow through here, and I suspect that what we are seeing is we're seeing just a normal pullback here. Now, when we take a look at Basil's system, you have to have those pullbacks in order to be able to get to different peaks or what have you. Now, when we're taking a look at the euro-US dollar, I think that this is an important chart for everybody to be paying attention to, because you've got the euro trying to make 100% move. It's still in that leg D up. It could go higher in Basil's system. You've got leg E, F, and then you've got that rogue wave G out there. But you got to take things one day at a time out here. I suspect we're going to see the euro make a reversal, not necessarily today, but in the upcoming days. And in Basil's system, the earliest would be tomorrow to give you any kind of at least initial indication. Now, in Basil's case, Basil, you correct me here, but even if you got a reversal tomorrow, that would not necessarily be your sell signal.
No, I tell you what I'm looking at here. As long as there are certain levels that I look at in the slow stochastic and in the MACD that are very important to me, which is one of the reasons why in my opening call, my daily service, I've been moving strongly to the long side in different stocks, and I'm looking now, and in fact, they are all, they're all above the levels that we bought them at, and that's very important in a very mixed market like this. You want to be able to look at the strengths and the weaknesses. In fact, we had a short on AZO, we were short at 380, just over 380, and this morning it dropped to 372. Well, something must have been said, because it spiked higher and now it's back to 370. But we took our profits. We took profits. I would have liked to have gone right back in to reshort, but that's the way you do it here. So the reason was that there was a very poor series of technicals, the stochastic and the MACD. In this case, in the Euro's case, the stochastic is at 90%. Yes. And that really is strong. It makes a 1.2979, the 9-period moving average, pretty strong support. So at this particular point, especially with this cup formation, which says, as you showed right here, that you've got the extension level going possibly back to retest somewhere close to the previous high of the 1.31 level. Yes. That means that I would hold off doing anything. If I look at the 120-minute chart, I always love to put this into different time frames. Exactly. The 120-minute chart is in leg D, possibly peak D, but also here again, strong technicals. But it says I can see a little bit overboard sign, so it says it could pull back to maybe 1.307, 1.302, somewhere around there. But in the meantime, you go one step at a time. At this particular point, all systems say until we get the signal that says there's a sell signal, you've got to remain in this position. No question. And I'm going to ask you a question about the 120-minute chart. Do you know that is part of one of your tools? When you take a look at time frames, you use the 120-minute chart out there. And is that because it's close? We'll finish up this question when we come back, folks. Then we'll go to a couple callers that we've got on the line. We've got Nick from Oklahoma City, Rich from Orlando. You two can get in on the action. We love being here with you, folks. 877-927-6648. Basil Chapman, Steve Rhodes. We'll be right back, folks.
You've heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've seen him on Tiger TV, as well as being featured as a regular CNBC guest and contributor, and now you can have access to his expert trading advice each morning through his daily trading newsletter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading stocks, options, and indices every market day. Market Insights comes out each market day before 9:30 a.m. and provides provides traders with Tom's daily commentary, opinion, and specific trade recommendations on the markets. Using advanced Fibonacci methods, volume indicators, Gartley patterns, candlestick charting, gaps, and market timing, Market Insights will give you specific trade recommendations including entry, stop, and exit prices. The summer is over and traders are back. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the Money Masters Show, folks. Basil Chapman and Steve Rhodes here for your duo tag team. And let's go out to Rich in Orlando. Rich, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. How are you today?
Good, Steve and Basil. Everything's real pretty here in Orlando.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, now you got Dr. Chapman and Dr. Rhodes willing to work on your stock chart for you.
Double barrel here. That's great.
Yeah, and you wanted to take a look at RES, which is a oil field service equipment company. Tell us what you're doing and how we can help you.
Well, I'm in this company. I'm in this security right now about here. Right about, I'm at 1190. I actually wrote it down a little bit.
Okay.
I'm about even on it. But I mean, I thought it had some potential to the upside. I know it doesn't. I'm not sure. I'm right now here. I'm at about even. It seems like it came off the bottom with some volume. I'd be interested also what Basil's got to say with the ABC. You know, the successive higher highs here. Because the volume, it seems like it's trailing off here, so I'm not sure if it's like ready to take a breather or anyway, that's the whole reason.
Sure. Well, you did have a nice little sign of strength there on the 30th on Friday from a volume
standpoint. I'm not sure what happened.
standpoint.
There was a big volume on that day. I'm not sure what exactly occurred that there would be that kind of volume. I mean, it's uncharacteristic.
I don't know what occurred either, but you do like seeing it, so that's certainly a positive. So, you asked about whether this was, which leg this is in, whether it's C or D. So let's first go back over to Basil in Newton, Mass. And Basil, do you have this notated?
I absolutely do. I did it right this minute. In fact, I had it notated some time ago, but it wasn't there, so I just quickly did it with a black background.
Okay,
so
great.
basically what we're looking at, I love to look at the chart to see what's the characteristic. Well, this is RPC Inc., made a low back in 16th of April of this year at 8:55. It went to a peak D, 4 peaks higher. Now, that's the concept of the Chapman wave, is to go from a buy signal preferably to a buy mode quite quickly, and that takes you to at least a D. D is, as we were talking about in the euro, D is where you've got to be a little bit careful. Now, D made the top back in the 10th of May at 1172. It pulls back, consolidates, makes another low to start the buy signal at 972, double bottom on the 13th and 14th of June, and then it goes peak ABCD. Wow, another D. That's the second one. It goes to 1215. On the 9th, it pulls back. 9th of July, it pulls back, starts a brand new one, and goes peak ABCD, and then within 3 bars makes a doji candle high of leg E, which it can do, at 1044, and then it comes down, makes a cup formation, what I call the double top. It's a drop bucket formation that I talk about in my CD introducing Chapman wave methodology. Then it comes all the way down to the most recent low of 10.25, and now it's in leg C above the 200-period moving average. So my thinking on this is that theoretically, there's no reason why you shouldn't expect at least a peak D to come. But I'm going to do something, if Steve doesn't mind, if I can take a moment, because this is what I'm going to spend a lot of time on in my Master Trader series on the Chapman wave. Because you bought it at about the 1170 level and you wrote it down for a 12 to 15% loss, my reasoning, and I've done this over years and years of experience of doing the wrong thing, and many times, what I've learned, and I do this in the E-minis, which I trade quite often, if I've done something and it goes against me, but I didn't plan for it to go against me. I expected it to go higher, or if I was short, lower. What I do is the moment I get back to close to even or even, you don't have to do this. I take the trade off, even if 30 seconds later I'm going to put it back on. Why? It was not a nice feeling to see your stock go down, correct?
Right.
And
you're right on that.
And it interferes with your money management because you don't know what else to do. It interferes with your thinking. As this little person sitting, the little elf, the little gnome sitting on your left shoulder saying, and you can't think.
Right.
So now what I say to you is, in my way of looking at it, I haven't had a chance to look at the 120-minute chart, but I'm going to say to you, you have no choice but to tighten your stop real tight, because you do not want to go through this again. Or you're going to take off some money from your position and you're going to keep the rest and think about putting the rest back. That's the way I would do it, because you've had a gift to get back to even. This is like your season holiday gift that says, hey, Rich, you made a mistake, but now you're back to even. You can rethink your position. Or what you do is you say, okay, I'm back to even. I will not allow that to happen. At this point, I'm getting out regardless. But it's in C. C should pull back. MACD's at 88%. That's very strong. Sorry, the MACD is very strong. The stochastic is very strong. I like the position. I think it's going to go higher. I think it's going to go to 1195 to 1208. And that's where you got to be somewhat careful. But in the meantime, it's looking good. But you have to think your position, because you were very negative. Now you're almost positive, all positive. Treat it as a gift. Be very disciplined. Now I'll hand it over to Steve.
No, it's great, absolutely fantastic advice out there. And, as far you did have that nice little sign of strength from a couple days ago. You don't have any bearish candles here as of yet. It looks like what this is going to do, especially having that volume come in, is try to make its way up to the October 18th swing point level. So you're looking at a low of 1202 to 1270. You know, you're at 1176 right now. I think the idea, either using either of Basil's suggestions, which is either go ahead and take the trade off the books or use a very tight stop, would be your options. I do like the look of this chart here from the standpoint you've got this little high volume high that hasn't been tested from September the 14th out there with 1.8 million shares. But I think what you want to do is you want to wait for a better trade setup. I think if you were using the Basil system, he would not tell you to enter here. You know, and I wouldn't tell you to enter here for the trade, but you're already in it. And I think the advice that Dr. Chapman gave is good advice out there.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, the real bonus here is that it just paid a 20-cent dividend as of last Friday.
Okay.
Well, I actually your money in terms of the dividend. I'm actually money ahead at this point.
That's good. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But you've got to hold the stock to get the dividend, right? As of what?
No. The ex-date was Friday.
Oh, it was. Well, then this is outstanding action because it's saying that besides the dividend, which it should have taken, dropped about 20 cents. It's holding very well. I like it. I'm saying to you that just psychologically, you want to be in the right frame of mind. I like it. I think it's going higher. And my thinking here is it's going to test the high bar of $12 of the 24th. If it does that, the stochastic is still above 88%, 90%. I would keep the trade. I'm just saying psychologically you do not want to go through what you went through before.
No, I agree. One last question, if I may. So
sure.
if we got out of it today or got out of it now at this level here, what would you look at a re-entry point? Or do you have any idea?
$11.59. $11.59 to $11.47, and I'd have a 15 or 20 cent stop on that position.
Okay. Listen, I appreciate it very much, fellas. Thank you.
Oh, you bet. You bet. Thanks for calling, Rich. Always good to hear from you. Let's go to Nick in Oklahoma City. Nick, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. How are you today?
Oh, not bad. Fantastic weather here in Oklahoma.
Oh, that's great. Glad to hear it. Tell us what you wanted to take a look at and how we can help you.
A company called O'Brien Engineering.
Okay, ticker symbol of OII out there. Tell us what you're doing, and we'll analyze it for you.
Well, I actually got it just for dividend purposes after Barron's article on this company and its prospects. But now I'm seeing that maybe it has chance to get back to some of its highs. And I just thought to check with you guys.
Okay, so we take a look at Oceanic Engineering. Again, the ticker symbol is OII, trading out at $53 right now. You had big volume in this thing on November the 30th, on Friday as well. Of course, that was options expiration day, but that's some big volume in this stock here, 5.3 million shares. So you certainly want to see it stay above that. What's the price that you're in at, if we can ask?
Well, a little bit below what I have right now.
Okay.
Just before its recent dividend.
Okay.
I got it for that, and I just thought to dump it, but then decided to hold for a little longer.
Okay. So, you know, with this thing, what this equity did here was you gapped down on November the 28th with 2.4 million shares, and you're inside the bar where it was a little bit of a sign of weakness, which was November 27th, 1.2 million shares. Yesterday you tried to hit that area on 827,000 shares, so it's losing some strength. It's done that as well today, only 186,000 shares out here. I wish I saw a high volume high or something in this. I don't. Basil, what are your charts showing?
Well, it's a very interesting chart because the monthly has had a fabulous move, just a tremendous move. Now it's starting to rest. The technicals are turning down. It's just hugging the 9-period exponential moving average at 51.89 would be the 9-period moving average is at 53.01. I'm looking at the oval formation, the struggle that it's had in the daily chart. Ocean Engineering, OII, we're looking at, folks, it's at 53.01, up 28 cents. My thinking right now on this particular chart, you see, if you got it, you bought it for the dividend, and you've got the dividend already or not?
Correct. I already got the dividend, and just now.
If you've got the dividend, I'm going to suggest this: that if it takes out if you a $2 break to the downside kind of negates your dividend, I'm sure. So I would not hold the stock for the dividend if you're worried about capital, and I'll explain why. If you see it go to 53.65 or higher, just use a trading stop. No problem. I'm sure you'll be very happy to see it there. My concern is if it starts to take out the little doji candle low of 52.34 on the 30th, I think it's going to retest 51.18, which is the 200-period moving average. That's going to be critical. If it closes under that, that's a real problem because it starts to impact the weekly chart as well. So those are my parameters. If you're holding it and you see it rise towards the 54.20 and then higher level, just have a trading stop in at least part of your position. My biggest concern is if it starts to pull back, it's going to pull back. 51.92 would be key support, but 51.18 is absolutely imperative. It's not touched the 200-period moving average for a couple of many weeks, at least 2 months. If it starts to touch that, it's saying, uh-oh, monthly chart is making the pattern I call the dreaded H, and you do not want that to happen. So I don't think it's worth it just for dividend. People kind of, it's like taxes. You hold the stock because you don't want to pay the tax, and then all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks of December, it drops 15%. That's capital. You can't make that back with dividends. So I'm suggesting that don't keep this for dividends if you're going to be losing 3.5 to 5% of your capital.
Yes, and I think that, when you see a high volume day, such as this had on November 30th, and the volume that it did there was 5.3 million shares. So you have accelerated volume, but you don't have that wide price spread. The question is it a buyer or seller really that's in there? And so what Basil's taking a look at, that November 30th candle, that is one that you've got to keep an eye on it. If that gets below $52.34, that could really spell trouble for you. So that's the financial decision that you have to make. It's at $52.92, but if you've gotten the dividend, I agree with Basil. You got to be real careful to benchmark this against that November 30th date right now. And if you trade inside it, which means below $52.99, and you're really right hugging that area here today, it's not giving you very positive signs.
I see.
All righty?
Thank you very much.
Hey, you bet. Thanks for listening. You bet. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. Yes.
You guys are the best.
Well, we think they're the best, don't we, Basil?
Oh, absolutely. Without them, we couldn't really...
We wouldn't get to do what we love most. We get to play in our sandbox.
I know, and get paid for it.
It is really great. I tell folks all the time that, if my journey in life took me to where I am right now, because this is really what I love to do. And not that I didn't love doing all those other things that I had done in the past, but this is just like, and I loved, owning a retail store in the Disneyland castle, only one of 3 guys that have actually ever done that, and many other things. That always was a big sense of pride out there.
Oh, that's a tremendous, that was quite an achievement.
But being able to do this, and actually impact people's lives, help people's lives, like you say, when we prepare for these master trader courses, folks, the amount of energy and time that Basil's putting in for the preparation of a 2-day course, it's incredible. And so it's actually very good for us because of just all the education that we reteach ourselves and the special little, there's always 1 or 2 little things that can make all the difference in the world. And I guarantee you there's going to be more than 1 or 2 little things if you attend Basil's course here coming up on Thursday and Friday. It's not too late to get in. I remember when I took my first Master Trader course from Tom. And what you've got to do, folks, is it's right. It's in your heart. It's right. You just simply have to make that final decision that you're going to go ahead and invest in yourself. And you will get so much more out of it than what you're actually putting into it. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. And you get to teach others. That's what we love folks to do, is to teach people after we teach you. We want, the true leader is not about how many followers they have. It's about how many leaders that they can produce. And that's what Basil's going to be doing on Thursday and Friday. So please go to the homepage of TFNN.com. If you're sitting on the fence, just get off the fence and sign up for it. When we come back here, we're going to take a look at the NASDAQ futures. I want to talk to Basil about the 120-minute chart that he uses out there. Right now, we've got the Dow up 19 points, the S&P down 1, composite off 13, small caps off 1.5. Always great to be with you. Basil's going to be with you for another full hour. We'll be right back, folks.
Are
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market, something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to tfnn.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of tfnn.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
Catch Basil Chapman as he uses his Chapman Wave methodology to call the markets. The Tiger Technicians Hour, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks. Basil Chapman, Steve Rhodes here on the Money Master Show. And stay tuned. Basil will be up for the next hour doing his normal show. As we come into this segment here, we've got the Dow's up 16 points, S&P's off about 2, composites off 15, small caps off about 1.5, the NDX off 14, being driven a lot by Apple. I do have the chart of the DAX up on the screen here, and we're using Basil's got his own technique called the Chapman Wave, incredible technique to be able to use out there. We're always looking to use these techniques to read the message of the markets. I think it's important to be taking a look at the DAX out here as we take a look at the message of the market for the DAX being the strongest index of, let's say, the 5 or 6 that I follow on a daily basis. If you take a look at these candles out here, you can see that the bears are really starting to take control, and they're taking control at an area, a prior area of resistance. Yesterday, you had a test of a swing point on lighter volume. The swing point that the DAX was testing was the September 21st swing point. You can see you're starting to have 3 candles here with longer upper shadows. You know, the base of the body itself is really the true essence of price out there. However, the wicks or the shadows, whichever terminology you want to use, really give you a lot of information about the psychology of the market. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to use our techniques to identify turns out there. So right now, you've got 3 sessions in a row. You had a little shooting star on November 30th out here. Then that was on Friday. Then on Tuesday, today and yesterday, you can see that really now the DAX doesn't close here until 11:30. It's down about $3, but it's telling you that you're starting to see a change in psychology. A change in psychology says, okay, the DAX is ready for a pullback. Now, I don't know what the DAX actually is from I could actually go figure out from a Chapman wave notation, but it looks to me like it really just wants to come back and perhaps pull back and test the channel line that is out there. But, Basil, I wanted to ask you a question. The NASDAQ futures themselves, on the daily chart, the NASDAQ yesterday went ahead and it was a key reversal date. That key reversal date, as I mentioned, folks, was testing an prior area of resistance. You're getting a little bit lower close today, or it's trading lower right now, mostly led by Apple, which is down $11 and change out there. But you like to use the 120-minute chart as one of your time frame charts out there, and I know there's a good reason for it. So I'd like to ask you, what is it about that 120-minute chart that works so well for you? Because I'd like to learn something.
You know what I use the 120-minute chart for? There's a difference. If you use a 60-minute, which is what most packages give you, 60 minutes.
Yes.
That's really intraday. That's much shorter term.
Yes.
You've got to have 24 of those before you get to a full day.
Yes, yes.
When you use 120 minutes, it's 12. I find it the perfect compromise between a daily chart and an intraday chart.
And will you use that 120-minute chart as your, let's say you're in a leg D on a daily chart, and then will you then that's where you'll drill down to is the 120-minute chart?
I will drill down to the 120 very often. I'll just go 120-minute, 30-minute, 20-minute, 10-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute to make an entry point. But most importantly, as you can see here in the NQs, there's an arch formation.
Yes.
And those arch formations are very important. I'll go through that in my in the hour that's coming. I'm going to show some of the charts in my Introducing the Chapman Wave Methodology, the CD that's available only at TFNN. That arch formation is a whole chapter I have, chapter 13 on the arch formation and the inside wedge. So if we drill back to this particular pattern that we're looking at here, I would draw a diagonal line. I call it, there it goes. That diagonal line is very important.
Yes. I
call it the inside wedge, and it should take you to the left side key support, and that would be at 26.49. So we'll be watching that very closely.
That's perfect.
on the NASDAQ.
That's perfect. Basil, it's actually been just fantastic, extraordinary, outstanding to spend an hour with you. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for Basil's show. Make sure you go out, check out Basil's workshop on the homepage at TFNN.com. Have a fantastic Tuesday, folks. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Basil, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's been great. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye, folks.